Hello everybody, hi, hope you're doing well. Hope everything is okay and you can relax a little bit now knowing that the final exams are not going to take place. I think all you teachers have got to collect a bit more evidence from you. So, I've set you another piece of work to do, an A-grade assessment. Shouldn't be too big a deal on India and decolonization and partition. So it's one of those document questions that compare and contrast. So it should be quite straightforward for you. I hope you're getting on quite well with the work that I set. That I think that textbook is nice and straightforward and clear for you. I thought I'd just say a few words here. I'm sure you're missing my ugly mug. After so many weeks of lessons, I hope we get time to meet again in the classroom in the future. But we shall see what happens. Everything has been very unpredictable, as you know. So I'll say a few words about India, just to give you a bit of context, the key ideas for your reading. We saw that the Second World War in particular had put a lot of pressure on European empires. Britain is pretty bust. It was a victor, but it was bust at the end of the Second World War, and Britain had been facing pressure in India by Indian nationalists, Gandhi, of course, and the Congress Party led by Nehru, and that long-term pressure, coupled with the Second World War, made the British government decide that it was time to give India, if that's the right word, its independence. So the Attlee government, elected in 1945, made that decision very clear and moved forward on that. India was seen as exceptional because it had this potential ruling elite there. It had a highly educated Indian leadership, people like Nehru, and it was seen that it was kind of safe to hand independence to these guys. When Britain and the other European powers like France looked at their empires, they didn't really see other places where they could give independence to. In the late 1940s. That's why the big story of decolonization doesn't begin until the very end of the 1950s and the early 1960s. So India was seen as kind of quite special. It was the most ready to be given independence. That's our first sort of example of decolonization. Of course, it's a really big country. So deciding on independence for India threw up all kinds of questions. India is full of different languages, ethnic groups, and of course religions. And several major religions in India, but the big two were the Hindus and the Muslims. And big fear of the Muslims was that they would end up as a persecuted minority in a Hindu-dominated, independent India. And this had given rise to a political party called the Muslim League, led by Jinnah. And the Muslim League increasingly pressurized for a separate homeland for Muslims if India was to receive its independence. Now, whether that would be kind of an independent country or whether it would be, have autonomy within a kind of an independent Indian federation, that wasn't clear. The problem was that the activities of the Muslim League and also Hindu prejudice and the British inability to keep control in India after the Second World War led to increasing violence between the two communities. And it became a kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more violence there was, the more that the Muslim League said, hey, we can't live anymore with Hindus. We have to separate from them. We have to have our own state. We have to actually have our own country, perhaps, as a solution to this. So the violence increased, and I say it's linked to the agitation from the Muslims for their own state. I have my laptop. I have a map. It's very high tech. I'll bring the map over. I'm sure you've had a look at the map, and you can see this is a map from British India in 1909, showing the major religions of India. Yeah, and you can see that this is the pink is the Hindu dominated area. The yellow actually is Burma, which is Buddhist, which is mostly Buddhist. And then you can see that the Muslim majority areas, and the Muslims everywhere, right? Places like Bombay have got quite a lot of Muslims, but they're a minority. The Muslim majority areas, you can see there over in the Indus Valley region, going over toward Iran and Afghanistan. And you can see them here in Bengal, okay, in the Ganges Delta and so forth, just to the east of Calcutta there, right, that area. So on two sides, all right. Those of you who are eagle-eyed will already notice this is basically Pakistan, Bangladesh that we're looking at, isn't it, right? So this is the basis for the Muslim League's arguments to create their own country, and they wanted to call it Pakistan. The British appointed in 1946 a guy called Louis Mountbatten. He's kind of very prestigious guy. He's a bit of a celebrity. He's the Queen's uncle or cousin, but he's kind of a member of the royal family. A very well connected man. So they appoint him in 1946 to kind of get things done. And he really gets things done arguably in too much of a hurry. He's a man really who wants to put it on his curriculum vitae, India, big success. And he goes for this very fast. And what we see is he brings the date of independence forward into 1947, not 1948. And he makes that decision as the violence increases, that there is no alternative. There is no alternative but to split India. Partition, that India will be split into two different countries. So there will be, do I need to get the map up? No, you know what it looks like. There will be India, and then on two sides, just as we've seen, there will be Pakistan. There'll be West Pakistan, and in Bengal, there'll be East Pakistan. So those two Pakistans and India in the middle. So this decision is made. Congress, Nehru, Gandhi are not very happy with this, to say the least. But they realise that perhaps it's the best solution on offer, because some of Jinnah's requirements, if the Muslims were to stay within India, would have been too great. So independence is given on the basis, in August 1947, on the basis of splitting the country, partition. And have you seen this decision to split the country makes the violence worse, it increases the panic, and there are millions of people who find themselves on the wrong side of the border. So you have millions of Hindus in Pakistan, millions of Muslims in India, and you've also got the Sikhs in the Punjab area around Lahore in kind of northwest India, who are kind of caught between the two as well. and the partition and the actual deed of it in 1947 leads to huge amounts of chaos, violence in India. It's estimated that 1 million people died in that violence, and at least 15 million people were refugees, had to leave their homes because they no longer felt safe to stay in that country. Okay, so I hope that you've got a nice clear text there, but I hope that helps a little bit. And I please make sure you keep up with your work and get that A grade assessment in, and we'll keep in touch. Okay, all the best. Bye bye. Bye bye.